understand it is not okay. Somebody started recording. I very well understand that the subject matter is not everyone's favorite subject matter.
Haikaduriba akogi varnasrama dharma gi matangda haikadurise mi khudingmakna masigi apambadi oigadobudi natte haitana takpi. Hare Krishna.
It is a very controversial subject matter in many circles, both within our ISKCON society as well as in general society, whether it is India or outside of India.
Magi matang tidisida yamna kari hade mara yetna ningba matang yam lakani haina hai. Mari akoi ISKCON manungdasu adegi ISKCON gi mapandasu India manungdasu India gi mapandasu.
And I would also mention that kindly don't expect to understand about varnasrama and all of its implications in this 1 hour or 2 hour seminar.
Maharaj takpiri akoina varnasrama dharma gi matangda Maharaj na pipiriba class pung ama natraga pung ama makhai si manung sidisida varnasrama dharma gi loina ba khangani haidana di class ama sida loina ba khangani haibadi admaina di khanbiganu.
I can only share my personal experience. It took me in this lifetime as a non-devotee, before becoming a devotee, it took me 25 years to even come to know the word Krishna. And then after knowing Krishna and Krishna consciousness, it took me another 25 years to begin understanding something about varnasrama.
Maharaj na takpiri akoigi Krishna consciousness changdringai mamangda akoigi bhakta oidringai mamangsida sida chahi kun manga changi hai Krishna karino haibisi kitang Krishna kanano ji kitang khangna wanarakpada adegi di Krishna si matungda Krishna conscious oira kandu de chahi kun manga amuk matungda leira kandu nei varnasrama dharma gi matangda kitang khanga is mai takpiri.
Some people are slow learners. Seems like I might be fitting in that category.
Maharaj na takpiri akhoi khudingmakse kari haitare khangbagi shakti se tongan ba oiba adana khar tapna khangganba mi chu leibanina adugi manungda Maharaj chu challi hena lojei na takpiri.
However, for me, 2 things stand out very clearly. Number 1, our founder Acharya, the Divine Grace of the Prabhupada, would not have spoken about varnasrama many years before going to India, and even in the last few days of his final pastimes in Vrindavan, number 1. And secondly, both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm sure other Vaishnava or Vedic literatures, would not be speaking about varnashram if it was not important.
Maharaj ki kano sida pot ani ka yam sengi hai Maharaj da amana agoi kano ISKCON ki founder Acharya ho remember agoi Acharya AC Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada na varnasrama dharma se darka leitragadi masi sungpan panbiramoi hai aduna India da chatringai gi mamangda India da kari hatare ada preaching loi torakanda da India da halak ꯆꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯉꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯁꯤꯗꯩꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯀꯟꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯤꯔꯝꯃꯤꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯗꯔꯀꯥꯔ ꯂꯩꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯤꯔꯝꯃꯣꯏꯗꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯤꯟꯗꯥꯕꯟꯗ ꯂꯣꯏꯔꯝꯗꯥꯏꯗ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯚꯨꯄꯥꯗꯅ ꯍꯛꯆꯥꯡ ꯊꯥꯗꯣꯛꯑꯝꯗꯥꯏ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯗꯁꯨ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯒꯤ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯤꯔꯝꯃꯤ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯨꯕꯗ ꯚꯒꯋꯠ ꯒीता ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ಶ್रीꯃꯗ ꯚꯥꯒꯋꯇꯝ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯚꯦꯗ ꯁꯥꯁꯇ꯭ꯔ ꯁꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ varnasramaꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯔꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤꯁꯦ ꯁꯨꯡꯄꯟ ꯄꯜꯂꯝꯃꯣꯏꯗꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯄꯜꯂꯤꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯁꯨꯡꯁꯣꯏ ꯁꯣꯏꯗꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤꯁꯦ important ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯥꯛꯄꯤꯔꯤ ꯃꯍꯥꯔꯥꯖ.
Yes. So for me, in the last 25 plus years, I have made it a choice, made it a decision in my life to fully focus and concentrate on what Srila Prabhupada referred to as 50% of his unfulfilled mission.
Chahi kun manga 25 years plus ki sida Maharajna kano torokpai sida decision ama lepe haibadi arepa ama lepe haibadi putsi sida masigi matang si varnasrama sida pura focus to full focus ne adagi masida concentration pura tawra kandu de masigi thabak se masi sida tawrage na khalle tapi.
And I can tell you quite honestly that I am still uncovering or discovering various aspects of varnasrama dharma. Even today, it is not that I, after spending 25 years primarily focused on the subject matter, it is not that I have completely exhausted the subject matter, but I think I can say that there is much more clarity and understanding as to why Srila Prabhupada considered this aspect of his mission as not only important, but as essential.
Sarada, you need to open the mic.
Sorry. Sorry, bro. Chahi Maharajna haibirezi chahi kun manga changna asuki matik varnasrama gi dharma da nainar taragasu masigi sida loina khangi badi haijaba nate adubu sengna hujik clarity khara leina hujikti Srila Prabhupada tawramiba varnasrama lingkhalu hairise marusu oiba marusu oiba aduga tawdaba yadabasu oiba ani sini takpiri. Hare Krishna.
Okay, having said this, I will now systematically summarize what I consider 5 main concepts. I refer to them as bullet points, 5 bullet points that are in many ways preliminary, that in many ways are fundamental, that in many ways are absolutely necessary to actually begin understanding why Srila Prabhupada felt that varnasrama dharma was meant to be introduced not only within our ISKCON society, but in the general society as well.
Maharajna concept manga kano tawbini hai hujiki je samlapna concept manga maruiba concept manga takpirakani sigise bullet point na laujai hai masigise yamnasu maruiba tawdaba yadraba adagi kari hatare khangdaba yadraba adugumba point khangtani na masigina haigadorise Srila Prabhupada varnasrama dharma se karigidamakta no iskon gi manungda amadi iskon mapanda chatna daba yadaba ni ne yam kana harami se masi matang se
Yes. So the 5 bullet points are as follows. I will just mention them. Maybe somebody can put it on the chat so everyone can see on the screen. The first one is the dual nature of Sanatan Dharma, or Sanatan Dharma in 2 features. Can somebody write that on the chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I can write the chat. So first is
Yes.
2 nature varnasrama dharma.
Sanatan Dharma, Sanatan Dharma in 2 features.
Yes.
Traduction, translation.
Sanatan Dharma in 2 features and high point manga sigi manung da ama Sanatan Dharma gi roop ani urakadoba.
Okay. Second bullet point would be Vedic culture as agrarian based culture. Vedic culture as agrarian based culture.
Vedic culture as agrarian
based.
Based, yes.
Based, B-A-S-E-D, yeah.
Sige matang si desi ne kun Veda gi. Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. And the third bullet point third is the 3 gifts of nature. 3 gifts of nature. Fourth bullet point is Catur vidya, the 4 Vedic sciences. And the 5th,
can you repeat, Maharaj?
After I tell the 5th, and but
can you repeat
the nature?
number 4?
The 4th one is number 4. Catur vidya.
Catur vidya, yes.
Catur vidya.
Yes.
The 4 Vedic sciences. And number 5, 4 movements of ISKCON. 4 movements of ISKCON.
Yes, Maharaj. So I wrote everything
And,
in the chat.
Yeah, just a small correction on number 2. Vedic culture as agrarian based, B-A-S-E-D, and a hyphen between agrarian and based. S-E-D.
B-A-S.
E-D.
Yes. So I don't know if I can. I need to write again.
Life is not easy.
Yes.
So let me begin while our Devarshi Prabhu will maybe correct number 2 here. The first one, Sanatan Dharma in 2 features. We all know something about Sanatan Dharma. And normally when we hear the expression Sanatan Dharma, we think about, Vedic culture and especially our eternal nature, our eternal relationship with Krishna. Translation.
Sanatan Dharma yana second first point se Maharaj na first point sigi matang da takpi Sanatan Dharma rup ani sidai sid lai besi akoina Sanatan Dharma haina hek harpa matam da akoi da laka dorise ko gi Vedic savyata adagi nitya oiba asigumba Bhagwan ga akoi ga mari lainaba mari masi ningjanga kani hadan takpiri.
Sanatan, we all know, means eternal, and Dharma, we have some idea, means what is our nature, or quality, or duty. What we generally know less or understand less is that Sanatan Dharma is an eternal science presenting eternal systems that are applicable both on the spiritual level in terms of the spirit soul, as well as applicable to the material body while we are here in the material world. There are 2 distinct but interrelated, interconnected sciences that I'd like to explain a little bit. Yeah.
Sanatan haitaragadi akoi nitya oiba dagi dharma haitaragadi akoigi kare haitare akoi da leichariba gun adagi akoi na togodoba kare haitare akoi togodoba thabak sina chingba anduna masigi keno torko matamda Sanatan Dharma se misi palakpa matam de sida akoi na ani thokna khairakane Sanatan Dharma se amana akoi keno je leiba adhyatmik ki oiba adhyatmik akoi atma sima leire adagi amana bhautik jagat sigi oiba si ani se mobani si tongan ba haija taragasu tongan ba mongda tham taragasu ani si mari leinarakani haidan takpiri.
Our Vedic literature, Vedic Shastra, speaks about these 2 levels of dharma, referring to them as spiritual swadharma in terms of the jiva, the spirit soul, and we could give as a label for spiritual dharma the term that is used by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in a very famous book that many of you may know, called Jaiva Dharma. So spiritual Swadharma means Jaiva Dharma. Number 1.
Veda Shastra da haibiri dharma ki level ani lai ihan hanbadana spiritual swadharma haibadi adhyatmik ki swadharma masigi si akoina jiva gi matangda jivatma ki matangda ni hairakadorisi masigi dharma sidhi akoina Bhakti Vinod Thakur na ibiramba larik jaiva dharma sidda yarkan nang akoi spiritual swadharma siga jaiva dharma siga chap mane hai.
Yes. And there is that very well-known reference and citation by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, well known by everyone, Jiver Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. This actually summarizes or defines the nature or the swarup of the jiva, that we are meant to be Nitya Das, eternally servants of Krishna.
The ani subadana akoigi kano se koi na Chaitanya Mahaprabhu na haibiriba jiverak swarupa hoy Krishna jiverak Krishna's Nitya Dasa haibadi matam khuding makta bhagwan na mapu oiraga akoina Nitya Das oigani haiba siman.
Yes. And of course, that is a whole big subject matter that in many ways is the central and the most esoteric, highly advanced subject matter that our Goswamis of Vrindavan especially concentrated on, as requested by, as directed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the whole cult of bhakti, which is elaborated upon, of course, as we know, by all of the Goswamis, especially Srila Rupa Goswami, in his book Nectar of Devotion. Of course, Srila Jiva Goswami also spoke on the subject matter in his Sat Sandarbhas.
Goswami mayam Vrindavanda sigumbagi mayam si yamna wangna leiraba Goswami mayam se Chaitanya Mahaprabhu na makoida sinagibane bhakti se kamaina tawgadagi haibase masigi si yamna kupna masigi matang sidai sidda Rupa Goswami na ibiramba Nectar of Devotion haiba larik sidai sidda thengnarakani duga Jiva Goswami gi Sat Sandarbhas mayam sidai sidda su yaw thengnarakani tapi Hare Krishna.
Yes. And we all know that any of us who has been practicing Krishna consciousness, endeavoring to follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga, the science of devotional service, we know it is a very big and very deep and very confidential subject matter, not so easy to even understand or to realize. But we have full faith and understanding that although it seems so far away and difficult to attain, we are convinced this is the ultimate goal and purpose of life.
Krishna consciousness akoi tawjariba jariba practice tawjariba akoi se shina masigi mayam je bhakti yoga masigi lamben sida chachari bane adu bhakti yogi lamben se masi arai badin nate aduga yamna su athupani aduga masigi si yamna su pak chaw gre masi arai ba su nate aduga yamna laina phangado bu su nate adubu akoi ya mapung phaba shraddha leijai karigino haibada masigi se yamna akoi dagi yam lap khiboi taraga su wana phangani haiba khanda khanjar taraga su sungsoi soidana phangani haibagi thajabadudi lei takiri mas.
So one may present the question, well, if the subject matter of spiritual sadhana, if the subject matter of bhakti yoga, if the subject matter of pure devotional service is requiring so much of our attention, then why bother with anything else? Why bother with the materials for dharma, which is the next aspect I want to introduce.
Bhakti yoga natraga koigi adhyatmik ki swadharma masigi natraga koi asengba kano bhakti si tawjarakpa matamse masi tawjarak matamda akoi hakchang si darkar lairkadorine aduna masiga hakchang si de koigi pochaki oibanina ji material swadharma siga kamaina mari lenaraka haibase masi jong tapirakani tana maras haibi.
Yes. So, in the very same way that spiritual sadharma, that I prefer to coin as jaiva dharma, in the same way that jaiva dharma is a very involved scientific subject matter, the subject matter of material sadharma is also very scientific, very involved, and I would dare to say very confidential as well. So much so that to this day within our ISKCON society, the majority of our devotees, the vast majority of our devotees are not understanding some of the basic elements of this material swadharma that we call varnasrama dharma.
Kuigi kanosi adhyatmiki oiba swadharma maharajani jaiva dharma oina hainingi masigi sidi yamna scientific oiba antugumba kanoni hiramni sida natana ama material ki swadharma hairibse bhautik ki swadharma hairise sisu yamna scientific oi aduga yamna su atuppa oi hai masigi kanosi masi matang sidi sida aduna akoigi ISKCON manung sidi sida mi ayambana masigi material ki swadharma se mapung phana khangbase yam de hai masigi se koina material swadharma jini koina varnasrama dharma haina harakadurisi.
We all understand that Krishna is the one who creates all things spiritual and material. Everything originates from him. Aham sarvasya prabhu bata sarvam pravartati iti madva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanditaha. So whatever Krishna creates, whether in the spiritual world or in the material world, is based on eternal concepts and principles and is perfect. And that is what we need to understand, that both these levels, the material level of dharma that we call varnasrama dharma, as well as the spiritual level of dharma that we call jaiva dharma. They are eternal concepts that the more we understand and practice, this will enable us more easily, more quickly to achieve our ultimate destination.
Krishna si akoi mayam sigi kari hadare loiba haurakphamse Krishna oire akoi kano oiragasu spiritual gi oiragasu material gi oitaragasu punambaki haurakphamsi Krishna ni haidana takpiri adai Maharajna quote amasu tawi sarvasya prabhava haina aduna kano toriba animakse kano haktane mapung phaba haktane jaiva dharma oigera natraga varnasrama dharma oigera haibase si matang si Maharaj may takpi.
I would like to refer all of you to a verse in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 9, at text 26, 1:9:26. That is a chapter entitled Grandfather Bhishmadev leaving this world. And not necessary to read it now.
Maharajna akoi canto 1 Srimad Bhagavatam gi canto.
First instruction given by Grandfather Bhishmadev to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yes, Mataji.
Maharajna akoi canto Srimad Bhagavatam gi canto 1 gi chapter 9 gi verse 26 ta masigi verse masigi se akoi ngasi padragasu masigi verse fajana pabiyu hena Maharajna habiri masidi sidda instruction si akoi grandfather Bhishma Devana Yudhishthir Maharaj da piba adugumba upadeshni tapiri.
So just picture the scene. Grandfather Bhishmadev is lying on his bed of arrows and he's preparing to leave his body. And he has been requested by Krishna to instruct Yudhishthira Maharaj, who has come out victorious. This is after the battle of Kurukshetra. Yudhishthira Maharaj will now be the new emperor of the world. And what is the very first instruction? The very first instruction given by Grandfather Bhishmadev. That very first instruction is in regards to the importance of establishing and following varna and ashrama.
Masigi verse asida Krishna na Yudhishthir da kano toramne Kurukshetra gi lan si loira kandu da Yudhishthir si mai pae anduga Prithvi gi ningthau oidori ni si matam sida ihan hanba upadesh pirse masigi si varnasrama ki matangda varna amadi ashram masi phajana khangnabagi matangda haibigibani na tapiri.
That very instruction in itself, I consider to be very significant, and even more significant or as significant is the very first line of the purport given by Srila Prabhupada, whereby he states, and I paraphrase, that this instruction of grandfather Vishmadev on the importance of following varnasrama dharma, quoting Bhagavad Gita 4:13, is meant following this system that Krishna has established. Prabhupada uses the word accelerate. This system is meant to accelerate the development of spiritual qualities. Try to understand.
Bhagavad Gita की chapter 4 की 13 verse 13 से श्रील प्रभुपाद ना सिगी purpose सिदा varnasrama dharma chataragadi masi अखोई कृष्ण ना सेमंबा असिगुंबा सिस्टम से मसी करिगिदमक्तन सेममिनो हाइब कांदा अखोईगी स्पिरिचुअल गी गुण सिंग से मसी हेंगतनबगिदमक्तनी अखोइना varnasrama dharma इंजगदोरिबसे हाइदना तापीरी.
Yes. So, and there are many similar statements that we find either in Shastra or as given by Srila Prabhupada to underline and explain how this material system of Varna and Ashrama is meant to be followed by practically, the vast majority of living entities in the material world, as long as one is in any way connected, even slightly connected with any of the modes of material nature, we must follow, work, and serve within the system of varnasrama dharma.
Radha Gorangi, you need to open the mic.
Sorry. सी शास्त्र सिंगसिदा हाइबिरमेबा अदगी शिला प्रभुपाद की पर्पत्ता सुमाइना हाइबिरमीसिना करी हाइबिरमगे हाइबगा मेटीरियल की ओइबा वर्णा अमदी आश्रम मसी मयाम से अखोई फजना तुंग इंजगदोबनी अदुगा अखोइना तौजरीबा थबक खुदिंगमक हाइबदी थबक तौगेरा नत्रगा अखोइना कनागुंबा मबु सेवा तौगेरा सी अनिमक से अखोइगी सिगी कनोसिगी varnasrama dharma gi कनोसिगी चटनबी मतुंग इन्ना तौगदोबनी ना तापी.
Yes. One important point to understand are more recent acharyas, beginning with Srila Bhakti Raghava Thakur, have introduced or added the word daiva varnasrama dharma. And this is significant. It means that varnasrama dharma is meant to be practiced by all the members of the varnas and ashramas in such a way that everyone is focused on serving and pleasing Krishna in activities of bhakti or devotional service. That is the meaning of daiva varnasrama dharma. And in this way, it becomes a spiritualized activity and is different from what is referred in Shastra as asuric or non-devotional varnasrama dharma.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯆꯥꯔꯌ ꯄꯔꯝꯄꯔꯥꯗ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯑꯆꯥꯔꯌ ꯁꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯚꯛꯇꯤ ꯕꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯊꯥꯀꯨꯔ ꯏꯝꯄꯜꯗꯤ ꯚꯛꯇꯤ ꯕꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯊꯥꯀꯨꯔꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ varnasrama dharmagi mamangse deiva haina ama happe deiva deiva varnasrama dharma haire masigisi yamna maru oye na maharashtra takpiri varnasrama dharma se akhoi varna amadi ashram da leiba mi khudingmak loinabak ki di natre adubu tawgadoriba thabak sidi akhoina bhakti bhakti ga loinana tawjagadoribani krishna na penaba adugumba ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯇꯧꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯗꯕꯛꯇꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯗꯩꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯄꯤꯔꯤꯆꯨꯋꯦꯂꯥꯏꯁ ꯇꯧꯊꯣꯔꯛꯑꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯗꯩꯕꯁꯦ ꯍꯥꯞꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯑꯁꯨꯔꯤꯛ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯒꯤ ꯆꯥꯕꯗ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯒꯗꯧꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝꯗꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯇꯥꯛꯄꯤꯔꯤ.
One of many important quotations from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is as follows. This is from his Toshni. In Sajana Toshni, he writes, varnasrama is the system for Vaishnavas in their conditioned state. I repeat, varnasrama is the system for Vaishnavas in their conditioned state.
Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakurna mahaki larik Sajjana Toshni haiba lairikda varnasramagi dharma sida sumaina hongdokpikhi. Masigisi varnasrama haitaragadi masida tawgadoribasi Vaishnavana chatkadoba adugumba system ni mana leijariba condition oiriba adugi state to aduida chatkadoba dharma ni takpiri.
Yes. So I think for the time being, hopefully, this brief introduction of dharma, Sanatan Dharma, in two features will give some understanding of the difference, but simultaneously connection between material swadharma and spiritual swadharma. In other words, material swadharma is a specific system, a specific science, which entails also a specific lifestyle that will favor the development of our spiritual swadharma, means pure devotional service to Krishna.
Sibhogi matang sidishidati akhuna dharma ani leiriba material gi swadharma adagi spiritual gi swadharma ani si leire adu yamna mari leinai ani si ahambagi material gi swadharma sidi yamna specific oiba akoi lifestyle su masidishida yamna kano torakadorine material gi swadharma sidishida koina specific lifestyle amagi mawongda leirani last kari tawgadagi haiba kandudeda koi spiritual swadharma se masi tawjaba ngamnabagi damakta shuddha oiba adugumba bhakti tawba ngamjanaba krishna gi bhakti tawba ngamjanabagi damakta chembiba dharma ni na takpir.
And with the word lifestyle, I will now transit to the second bullet point, which is Vedic culture as agrarian-based culture.
Akoina lifestyle akoina kamaina hingjagadagi haibado masigi matang sida second bullet point sida maharashtra amuk lakpirani second bullet point sida kare hojigi koi lau singugi matang sida lakani agrarian hais lau singugi tawbagi matang.
I will go a little bit more quickly with the other four so that we have a little bit of time for some interaction or questions after finishing the 5 bullet point presentations.
Sujiki point mari se karthuna Maharaj na lotion birani hai si matung si deshi da koi Maharaj koi ga hangado ba khot ka do ba matam du khrang pi na ba gitamakta.
So let me explain briefly. Vedic culture, we can see throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vaishnava literatures how, and especially we can see in the personal example of Lord Krishna. Krishna, as we know, Lord Krishna, when he descends in the material world, as he did 5,000 years ago, he manifested the original spiritual realm of Goloka Vrindavan in this universe that we refer to as Bhoma Vrindavan. So this Bhoma Vrindavan is the replica of what is taking place eternally in the spiritual world, and that replica in the material world is meant to be the standard lifestyle, the standard way of living to simultaneously meet all of our different necessities of life, whether they be physical, emotional, social, or spiritual. All of the necessities of life are more easily met when we understand and agree to live this more simplified lifestyle that we call village lifestyle. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada instructed, make Vrindavan villages.
Vedic Savyata Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Amadi Atopa Shastra da Kari Haina, Haibakanda de Bhagavan Shri Krishna na Prithvi da Lingapa Matanda, Chahi lising mangagi mamangda lengakhiba matamsidesida koi Goloka Vrindavan se masigi se koi prithvi da pubira ine masigi puraiba se Bhauma Vrindavan hai Bhauma Vrindavan se koi Goloka Vrindavan ga chap manaba adugumba kano replica adubune sidesida dai koi kano sidesida bhaujaka ta pubira iba sigi pubira iba Krishna na pubira iba kano se Krishna Goloka Vrindavan dagi pubira iba masigi replica se masiga chap manana akwai hingu haibane basidesida adana akwai punsida darkar leigado wenge loina ba haibadi emotionally natrag emotional needs adagi social needs adagi spiritual needs si mayam se loina ba masi mayam se sigi replica se da loina ba phangadoina irai laina masi phangna ba gidamak akwai icham chamba simple akwai gi kano leba village haibadi khungangi punsi je masi lengadobani hai masi yam kanna Vrindavan se village kuding masi Vrindavan oihalu haida takpiri.
Now we should understand that because of 2 major historical events that took place a few hundred years ago, namely the French Revolution and the Industrial Revolution, have changed the course of history such that more and more, and the trend continues today, more and more people are abandoning and rejecting this more traditional, natural way of living, which was in villages. Therefore, Vedic culture is based on this more simplified lifestyle in villages, and we should understand modern day so-called advancement of civilization, which is based on industrialization, which is based on mechanization, which is based on more and more ever-increasing urbanization, materialism, atheism. These are major deviations from what is recommended in Vedic literatures.
Chahi chamamuki mamangda itihasta ani French Revolution haibamaga, Industrial Revolution haibamaga, ani si thokre. Sidesida gidi akoigi si revolution ani se si matungda di thokle ibase hujiksu madugi revolution ani sigi thokraba matungdu daiduda ahongba lakribase hujiksu chathari aduna ahongba si karino haiba kandu daiduda hana icham cham khungangda leijaramba adugumba punsido thadu akoina shahar lainingba adugumba shahar lainingba no icham chamba punchiro icham chamba kano khungangi punchido thadu kano dal oina leiba pagi urban kano hisida lainabagi damakta mayam se khuji phawju chathanari hai advance adegi di machine mayam siznarakpa aduga kano da yamna kano to cities mayam urbanization torakpa adu etaraga de khoji yamna kano era ne ba khoi bhautik jagat se koi yam materialistic oiba wakhan lakani di bhagwan thajadaba masigi mayam se khoi veda sabhyata dagi di thaidorakpa ngaktani Maharaj tapiri.
Okay, sorry, something happened, but we're back. You can hear me?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj, we can hear you.
Okay, somehow disappeared for a short few minutes, less than a minute. So that's why Srila Prabhupada emphasized the need, the importance to establish farm communities, self-sufficient. We don't depend on modern day modernization, which is basically in many ways a major deviation from Vedic culture.
Hujik matam makoina farm farm community si yokhatnaba khotnaba adu oitaragadi akoina huji sangsar da material gi oiba mayam seasonary se masi kanadabda seasonary ba mayam se tasebagi di deviation ne veda gi sabya gi deviation ne duna koina farm community si linkhatpa taragadi masi akoida kanagani hena tapiri.
Yes, that is a whole big subject matter to discuss, but not right now. Let us go to the third bullet point, which is 3 gifts of nature.
ahum suba bullet points se Maharaj takpirakani sidai akoina pirakpa khudol pot ahum khak lei masi matang.
So what do we mean by three gifts of nature? This is nicely explained by Grand to Yudhishthira Maharaj. He speaks with him or instructs him actually for many days, many weeks. So one of the important instructions is regarding how mankind has received from the Lord these three gifts of nature, without which one cannot live properly, without which one cannot actually be happy, without which one cannot be healthy, without which one cannot be wealthy, or cannot be healthy, wealthy, or happy. And those three gifts of nature are necessary for any nation, country, or community to properly flourish.
Ahum suba khudol si Bhishma Devan na Yudhishthir da haibikibani masigi matam sida pung numit kaya ni changna hapta kya changna Yudhishthir da tambikibani takbikibani masigi khudol pot sing se koi na miyoi bana bhagwan dagi phangjakibani masi khudol pot ahum se masi yaudda taragadi akhoi nungai akhoi punsi je phajana hingba ngamoi ado akhoi punsi da kano tawroi masi yauddragadi akhoi punsi da nungai ba ngamaroi masi ahum ji yauddragadi akhoi hakchang phararoi adagi masi ahum ji yaudda taragadi akhoi kano su akhoi kano kari hatare akhoi nungai yai phaba adu oiraroi masigi khudol pot ahum se masi koigi jagat sida leiriba kari hadare koigi jat akoigi jat natraga akoigi leibak natraga atopagi leibak masi mayam se yauda taragadi akoi nungai.
Yes, these three gifts of nature act as mothers. All three of them actually are mothers, meant to nourish us individually as well as collectively. And those three gifts of nature begin with the first, mother cow or mother surabhi. Second, mother bhumi or mother earth, mother nature. And the third, mother Saraswati or knowledge, goddess of learning. Cows, land, and knowledge are the three gifts of nature that must be present in our daily lives. Translation. Something happened. Devarshi Prabhu. Devarshi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Sorry, I just got disconnected. So let me start that translation about the three mothers. Ima ahum ni haiba hojiki kano se. Akwai chingsi si ima ahum sina mi amamam akwai amamambu kano tauba natraga pulak waina kanaba piba ihan hanba sina kano se koi ima sina kano sine sanbi sine surabhi degi ani suba sina bhumi haibadi kano se prithvi se natraga prakriti degi ahum suba sina saraswati haibadi koi kano se maga knowledge.
Yes. So those three are especially more easily to be found when we live this more natural agrarian lifestyle in the villages where we are in daily contact with Mother Nature. We are growing our own food. We are depending on the natural produce from the land, where we are keeping cows who are essential not only for material well-being, but also essential for our various spiritual development or spiritual activities.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯍꯨꯝꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯇꯧꯒꯗꯧꯕ ꯅꯨꯡꯇꯤꯒꯤ ꯐꯪꯒꯗꯧꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯆꯥꯅ ꯊꯛꯅꯕꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯍꯨꯝꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯐꯪꯉꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯀ꯭ꯔꯤꯇꯤꯗꯒꯤꯗꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗꯔꯀꯥꯔ ꯂꯩꯕꯉꯩꯁꯨ ꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯐꯪꯉꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯨ ꯕꯤꯗ꯭ꯌꯥꯁꯨ ꯐꯪꯉꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯍꯨꯝꯁꯤ ꯂꯩꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯙ꯭ꯌꯥꯠꯃꯤꯛꯀꯤ ꯆꯠꯆꯒꯗꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯂꯝꯕꯦꯟꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯗꯩꯁꯤꯗ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯉꯝꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯇꯥꯛꯄꯤꯔꯤ.
Okay, I will now go to the fourth and the fifth PowerPoint. Time is running short. And the fourth has to do with Vidya, the four Vedic sciences. And they are known, actually, these four sciences are meant to make up the curriculum for Varnasrama College. We've not established Varnasrama College, and therefore practically none of our devotees have received training in these four sciences. But unless we get trained in these four sciences, unless we become knowledgeable of these four sciences, then Vedic culture cannot be properly implemented. And I will just briefly mention these four sciences. Again, I can request Devarshi Prabhu to write these four sciences because they're very important in the chat after Mataji finishes translating.
Yes, Maharaj.
Bullet point 4 ga 5 ka Maharaj nang takpiyudore mari suba fourth na Catur vidya hai Varnashram College masi akoi likhatpagi darkar leiba adu tasengbagi di masi linkhatki haitaragadi kana science mari masigi sidai phajana training and logadobani the masigi science mari se koi chat box da prabhuna ibirakani aina tak.
So the first of the four sciences is called anviksiti in Sanskrit. Anviksiti means the science of philosophy. Anviksiti, the science of philosophy. Second of the Catur Vidya is called Trayi. Trayi means the science of education for brahmanas, to train brahmanas. Third science is called Dandaniti, the science of politics, that is to train ksatriyas. And the fourth science, Varta. Varta means the science of economy or economics. So just again, very quickly, Anvikshiki, the science of philosophy for brahmanas. No, anviksiti, the science of philosophy for all dvija, the 3 dvijas. Second, trayi, the science of education for brahmanas. Third, third is dandaniti, the science of politics for ksatriyas, and the fourth, varta, the science of economics based on cows and land for vaisyas. That can be translated.
Vidya Mari si yauri, Vidya Mari si da hai ihan han bagi si da koi chat box da adum yaure ihan han ba si da yaure si na keno hai anviksiti hai si di philosophy gi matang da nei na ba masin na dvija ahum adugi mukoi da tambi na bani the ani subo sin na trayi sin na koi gi keno gi education gi matang da brahmana qualified brahmana trained brahmana laigadoba lagi ahum subasina dandaviki hai dandaviki sinna rajniti gi kshatriya gi adagi kohagi aroi basina varta hai varta sinna kanogi koi vaisya sing sigi adagi kari hadare koi lamne adagi san sinna chingba si.
And I will conclude here by telling that this fifth topic regarding no, actually there's one more. I forgot. There's one more bullet point, the fifth bullet point, which is the 4 movements of ISKCON. That also I'll just briefly mention. And that also can be written if Devarshi Prabhu can also write. This will be helpful for the devotees.
Yeah.
So I can just mention them briefly, and then Mataji can translate because it's quite simple. The 4 movements Prabhupada called, number 1, sankirtana movement, means the holy name in books. Second movement, Srila Prabhupada called it temple worship movement, means establishing temples and deities. Third movement, Srila Prabhupada called it spiritual initiation movement, which means giving training and education to devotees. And the fourth movement, Prabhupada called it classless society movement, which refers to introducing jaiva, varnasrama, dharma. These 4 movements are referred to in the small essay written by Srila Prabhupada called Gita Nagari. Gita Nagari, published in 1956. These concepts are there. From the beginning, Srila Prabhupada envisioned introducing and spreading Krishna consciousness through these 4 movements. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Bullet point 50 is the movements of ISKCON hai mari movements sidi Srila Prabhupada na ahanba the sankirtan movement masigi is holy name distribution siga book distribution siga hai. Second gi movements in temple worship movement hai. Temple worship movements in koi temple ne deities mayam ne masi mayam se kano tong na ba masi semgat na ba. Dagi ahum subasina koi kano to koi kano initiation people, diksha people, spiritual initiation people the train to no baneba masigi mayam se devotees sing se moi education su piba training su piba the last movement last ki movements in the classless society hai classless society movement class yaudaba society movement shidana kai to kadagi have the daivi varnasrama dharma masigi se haudokpa hain hai Srila Prabhupada na masigi movement mari se masigi se essay kano se Gita Nagari haiba essay 1956 ta kano tawhiba Srila Prabhupada na ihiba essay sida yauri na takpiri.
Yes. So having presented these 5 bullet points, I will again emphasize that our proper understanding of varnasrama dharma, our proper understanding of the varnasrama mission, our proper understanding of Srila Prabhupada's emphasis on the need to introduce varnasrama dharma will depend largely on how well we understand and are able to put into practice these 5 aspects of dharma. And a lot of this information can be found in an important book that possibly Devarshi Prabhu might have mentioned already. As a matter of fact, I think you already are reading and studying the book called Speaking About Varnasrama Dharma, Speaking About Varnashram, rather, a compilation of Prabhupada's most important statements on the subject matter. And I close my presentation on this, and we can take a few minutes for possible comments or questions. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada na masigi Devi Varnasrama dharma masigi chatnahange haibase masi kamaina tawgani hai kanda da koina bullet point manga piribase masibu koina phajana chacharaba adoi taragadi dharma gi matangda phajana khangakani yamna akuppa Srila Prabhupada ki conversation ama compile tawraga Varnasrama gi matangda iriba larik speaking on Varnashram haiba masi larik sida yaurani haidana takpiri duna Maharaj na masi hairaga Maharaj ki presentation si swaida lotion jarage hai aduna masi comments kumba leiraga di na matam bibiri.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for this enlightening presentation which you have given us, and we learned a lot of things. We look forward to having more sessions with you, and there are so many questions that has come to my mind, and the establishment of the Varnasrama College, the trained people that we need to have for this college, and the requirements. Could we know some of the requirements, the infrastructure, and how this can be done, Maharaj?
Yes. Yes. The subject matter is meant to be arousing at least curiosity and interest in trying to understand Srila Prabhupada's the importance Prabhupada gave to this aspect. Very well. I mentioned earlier, he referred to this, to Varnasrama, as 50% of his unfulfilled mission. So that's quite a lot. So, it's probably quite a bit of information for devotees who possibly may not have heard about some aspects that was presented. And so let the time factor work a little bit by thinking about and discussing some of these points amongst the devotees. And as mentioned earlier, it will be very helpful for devotees to begin reading or continue reading the book speaking about varnasrama, whereby directly we can hear and more easily understand what is Srila Prabhupada's vision in that whole realm of varnasrama dharma.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu from Russia or Prabhu Russia.
Mataji, Mataji, akhoi Varna Ashram Dharma si akhoi French Revolution ga adagi akhoi industrial revolution ani sina urbanization mechanization porakpasigi counter balance taunaba akhoi Varna Ashram Dharma si amuk thorukpani haibasi yam phajai Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, can I translate
Yes.
Russia Prabhu's comments? And Russia Prabhu is telling that the French Revolution and the Industrial Revolution, which Maharaj has mentioned, leading to urbanization and mechanization of the society.
Yeah.
So to counteract these, counterbalance these things that has happened after the French Revolution, introduction of the varnasrama dharma, this has really imprinted this as these things is a very important point.
Yes. We understand the connection, this major historical development. Actually, we should not call it a development in terms of positive development, but it was to a large extent a deviation from some basic principles. Of course, there are many things to be said, but when we reject, because the French Revolution was basically rejecting monarchy and also rejecting the church. So when we reject the brahmanas within society, when we reject the ksatriyas within society, mind you, at that time, they were rejected because they had become very corrupt or very much not in keeping with the Vedic principles. But without having these two qualified individuals or let's say these two aspects within society, both of whom or both of which are leaders. Brahmanas are leaders, spiritual leaders, and kshatriyas are material leaders with spiritual qualification, of course. Then society cannot function, and that's what unfortunately has happened, continues to happen, and Srila Prabhupada has tried to explain to all of us that we are practically, those who are followers of the Vedic culture are the only ones who can restore society to its proper order by introducing these eternal principles of these two levels of dharma that we explained at the beginning. Hare Krishna. if you could translate some of that.
Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj na hybridise, odigi brahmanas, hybrid spiritual leaders lere, ksatriyas, hybrid the material leaders, kanogi the spiritual qualification yauba. And the masi perfect system oibanina, masi akoina mug restore toba ngam taragadi, sungsoi soidana, akoina Krishna ki system eternal oiba, masi gizen nungaiba, adegi shanti leiba, masi purak pangamgani, hetana tapiri masi.
Before I forget it, within a few weeks, a group of devotees from different countries, actually, we will be launching a global initiative that is called Make Vrindavan Villages. This global initiative will be launched on May the 7th in India. Of course, it's a global initiative, so it will have far-reaching effects worldwide. And on that date, May the 7th, we are launching simultaneously a new website. You can make note of it. And again, Prabhu Devarshi can put it in the chat. It's still in the making. The homepage will be ready. You can even visit now, but there'll be more presented actually on May the 7th. The name of the website is www.mvv. That's short for Make Vrindavan Villages. mvv.global. mvv.global. That's the name of the website that will be focused on restoring this Vedic culture through bringing awareness about village life, cow-based economy, Vedic traditional education, which is not only Gurukula. In addition to the website, we'll be launching an app. The name of the app is Divine Shelter. And this app will give an opportunity for devotees to connect whatever projects they have, rural projects especially, but any other project connected with our Vedic culture can find its place on this app, and it will be a good service for devotees around the world to interact with other similar-minded devotees.
Maharaj, can you repeat the website? mvv dot and after?
Yes. mvv dot global.
Global, yes, global, yes. Okay. Yes.
Global, yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yes. I get it, Maharaj.
On devient global.
Yes, global.
Okay. Yes, very good. Merci. Thank you. So this has been translated, Mataji?
Yes, Maharaj, let me do that. May 7th, India, the global initiative, ama paikhatkadori, masideshida, kanosina, launch tawdorsna, make Vrindavan Villages, haiba, masideshida tawdori bani, Prithivida leiba, tungan ba, project mayamse, pungadori bani, sideshida, and then masi, numit sideshida, May 7th sideshida, website, amasu hangdokadori, www.mvv.global, haiba. The apps amazu puthokadori sigi apps in divine hai and the project mayam se atete mafam da leidu project mayam koi rural project mayam se masi masigi app sigi through da natraga masigi website sigi through da koi mayam se loina bak khana nai na ba yagani aduga gurukul adegi education curriculum si loina bak yaurani maduna masigi kadi koi prithvi da amaga moi kamai taunarigi habse pau phauna bagi damaktani hedana masigi website siga app siga togani hedana Maharaj takpiri.
And I have one last point. There's a QR code. I don't know if you can see it. Well, if I can be brought up. Can you see this code? There it is. Whoops.
Yes, Maharaj.
We can see it's very small. We see the cows, Maharaj. We don't see the. Well, we see the cows.
Well, it's because it's a little tricky to bring it closer. Sorry. Anyways.
Maharaj, I can send this QR code to the group of devotees who are there, because they are more or less in the same group, you know.
Yeah, yes, that will serve the purpose. Yeah, correct. Yeah, you can just share that when there's more information will be there. So I will have to kind of excuse myself because it's getting a little bit late here where I am. We're 1.5 hour ahead of India. So therefore, before it gets 10 o'clock, which is getting past my bedtime, I want to take this opportunity to thank the devotees for being present this evening, for being attentive, and for still being here till the end of this presentation. I saw 20 at the beginning. I still see 20 present. Sometimes people just disappear. So that's to your good credit. And kindly take to heart this important aspect of Srila Prabhupada's mission. It is extremely important, and I wish everyone well in their reading and further discussions on the subject matter. And especially I want to thank Devarshi Prabhu for making this possible and for spending a good amount of time in Manipur to give an opportunity for devotees to know more about the subject matter. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for everything.
Translation.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yes.
Maharaj si bedtime gi kano tawri hai Cambodia da leibanina matam si 10 pung tara henjale duna excuse to biro ida Maharaj na haire duna Maharaj si yamna nungai je sigi kano sida mi ahan bada mi kun chang e hojiksu dum mi kun yauri ta thoki ba khotki ba yaw taraga su Maharaj na yamna nungai na kano to biri kari hatare sigi Devarshi Prabhu koi Manipur da koina leibiraga matam yamna akhoi damakta devotee association pibiraga si tawba khotpa sigi Prabhupada ki yamna maru oiba kari hatare pamjaba project ama na kano to bibase masigi damakta thagachari na mayamna thaibiri.
So maybe we can close the session by asking everyone to
I think we cannot hear Maharaj. Generally, he's asking all of us to put the video at the end of the presentation. And it seems that Maharaj disappeared, no?
Thank you so much, Prabhu. This
So
all your
maybe
credit.
we can put everybody can put the video. Maharaj is here. Yes, coming back. Welcome back, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we want to be.
Mataji has translated.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
No, I have to go. No question
Yes,
right now.
Maharaj. I have translated that you be excused because it is almost past bedtime at Cambodia, and we really need to thank you, Maharaj, for spending time for us, Maharaj, and
Yes,
so
yes.
thankful to you, Maharaj.
But everyone is still muted. I think you've not conveyed that everyone should unmute, and together we recite the Mahamantra.
Oh, but I not translate because I could not hear. Sorry, Maharaj. Ako'y mayam loinabag unmute to biro, ade video on to biro, aduga ako'y aduga Mahamantra chant to mina Maharaj na.
Yeah. Unmute. People are slow to unmute.
Unmute to biro loinabag kana to biro. Mic hang to biro.
Mic off. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much,
Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.